Continuing our discussion on the budget. For the past few cycles, dueling budget plans have been presented to the public, a proposal by the governor's office and a proposal by House Republicans. Depending on who you ask, the amount of collaboration on those proposals has varied over the years. Earlier this month, the House Appropriations Revenue Chair, Jason Petrie, vented his frustration when State Budget Director John Hicks said the executive branch would not immediately send over draft reduction plans. Here's some of that exchange.
Why can we not have a copy of a reduction plan that a cabinet secretary has submitted?
Because it's an input to a decision that the governor makes. It's not a decision that the cabinet makes.
Fine. I'm not looking for the governor's insight. I'm looking for the cabinet's insight and looking for their input. So, no?
The answer is no.
You understand what was that word that was used in the prior presentation? What was that? Do you remember it? Collaboration. This has been going on since 21, where we try to collaborate. Nope, wait for the budget address. Nope, wait. Nope, wait. This is not politics. This is policy. This is budget. This affects Kentuckians.
Petrie suggested even putting General Assembly members under NDA to work with the executive branch. He said the House GOP would be putting out a budget regardless and said that could be done, quote, collaboratively or adversarially. So, Representative Camuel, I want to start with you here. It certainly seems like some of the frustration spilled into public view there. Just, you know, from your own experience working with the House Democrats, how would you assess the relationship?
The relationship between
the General Assembly and the executive branch.
I have a good relationship with the executive branch, I will say. And it's interesting watching that exchange because that is a little bit different than other information that I receive, because it's actually my understanding that members of the executive branch and leaders from both chambers have been meeting on the lead up to this budget. So that was, without seeing the whole full context.
And it went on for about 3 or 4 minutes. I tried to show as much context as I could.
Yeah, no, totally understand. But not being there and seeing it, it was surprising, and generally we don't see that happen in a committee meeting.
Senator Douglas, what were your thoughts?
My thoughts were not so much that Representative Petrie was arguing with Mr. Hicks, but more so the frustration he had about the process. Budgeting, we have a biennial budget, a 2-year budget that we have to work on. We also now have pressures coming down, knowing that there are going to be changes at the federal level that will very much affect us here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We want to make sure that we're making the best decisions for the people of the Commonwealth. As you heard Mr. Hicks say, there are certain information that they're not willing to give out now that they already have. Giving us that information, certainly for our folks in the House, would give them a much quicker start on fashioning the budget with accurate numbers. And I think the frustration is that we want to make sure that we are transparent. Our people of the Commonwealth expect us to work together. So I don't think the frustration was so much with Mr. Hicks, but the process that's being followed in the executive branch in holding back information that would be very, very, very helpful to the House in terms of formulating an early budget.
Is the process, or some of what we saw here, have we reached this point just due to differences in politics? Is there some sort of back and forth over grudges or grievances that can sometimes happen in Frankfort? What do y'all think?
I think that there is some truth to that. I do. I think everybody likes to try and score their points, and I'm not saying that's what was happening in that committee meeting, but I'm saying that people take sides. I, for one, I try to work across the aisle with everybody that I can because it's the only way we can get good policy done. But I do think that sometimes there are efforts made to, on whether it's Democrats, Republicans, the executive branch, legislative branch, to try and hold more cards, keep some cards close to your chest to try and do the, the gotcha moment. And so I personally would like to see that type of behavior end. But this is the climate that we're in when it comes to politics right now. But personally, my goal, and I think I'm not trying to speak for you, Senator Douglas, but I think we have the same goal. We want to make life better for Kentuckians, and the way we do it is by having conversations and not trying to, have a soundbite.
Do you agree with Representative Camuel's perspective there?
Well, what I'll do is I'll follow up on it. Let me give you a couple of examples. When we really take a look at House Bill 151 that was passed in the 2024 budget session.
Senate Bill 151.
Senate Bill 151, I'm sorry. Yeah, and that included the senior mills. Our executive branch did not allow that to be enforced. And so we ran into the problem that we're currently trying to fix, that a lot of our seniors weren't getting the money or weren't getting their food. We want, when we pass a bill, we want our executive branch to follow through. Most recently there was a pre-K task force, because we've all talked about pre-K, universal pre-K. Well, a pre-K task force was formed, but no current legislators were allowed to sit on that task force formed by the governor. So what we would like to do is we would like to have transparency. We would like to be able to have those communications with the governor directly. Not just, we get along very well with his cabinet people. We even get along very well with the press, even though we know that sometimes there is a hierarchy and things have to be marched upstairs. We respect that. But we have three co-equal branches of government. And in the General Assembly, we would love to have that opportunity to sit down personally with the governor. And I certainly know that our leadership would love to be able to sit down personally with the governor and have those conversations. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of voters that probably agree with that sentiment. We'll have to leave that conversation right there. We still have more ahead this morning.